I will. I'll be betting on him for sure.
Yeah, I will as well. Awesome. We got two guys here for Chris Dorcas.
Love it.
The next fight, which is mind-blowing. This has come about because Aljamain Sterling is not injured, but he's pulling out via injury here. He has claimed on the ESPN show, or it might have been BT Sport now, whatever Ariel Helwani is now doing. He spoke to Ariel and basically said that he can not really go more than 2 rounds at the moment without gassing. And it's due to being, it's Petr Yan's fault. It's not his fault. And he's pulling out and putting all the blame on him and then just kind of distracting everyone with the fact that he has to pull out with this fight and not defend a belt. Personally, I wouldn't put this for an interim belt. I'd strip him and give this for the real belt, because your first title defense, he's gone, I'm not injured, everyone, but I'm not fighting. And it's like, well, it's not Petr Yan's fault that you haven't got the cardio right now. Like, it's your fault. So Petr Yan versus Cory Sandhagen. Cory Sandhagen steps in. It's a seriously good fight here because Cory obviously just lost a very questionable decision to TJ. I don't think it's a robbery by any means, but I did think Cory won 3-2 quite comfortably. Like, I thought I couldn't find 3 rounds TJ won. I found 2. And that was rewatching the fight twice. On first instinct, I think a lot of people just went, oh, Cory's won, no problem. Go to the bathroom, come back, and why has TJ got his hand raised speaking to Bisping? It's a crazy fight to me. It's a dangerous fight. I think this is a harder fight for Petr Yan. I think Cory is a lot better than Aljo, even though Aljo did choke him out in a minute or so in their fight. But I do think this is a much harder fight for Petr Yan to train for, as the striking and the cardio of Cory is phenomenal.
Yeah, this one caught me off guard a little bit. At first, I was like, well, how did Sandhagen get this? But then I realized TJ Dillashaw had hurt his knee in that fight, so he's out for injury. So the next guy up is Cory Sandhagen, which I've always been a big supporter of. There was a point in time where if you had given me the choice of who's the best in this division, I thought it was Cory Sandhagen. And that was even after Aljamain choked him out in that first, 1 minute or 2 minutes into the fight. I still thought Cory Sandhagen was a better fighter, especially after we saw Aljamain go against Petr Yan.
Yeah.
And that performance just was not good in my eyes.
Yeah.
But there is a lot to get into here, because I thought, Aljo kind of won in that scenario, obviously became the belt holder when he defeated Petr Yan because of the illegal knee. And that was a great business move on his end. And this would have been perfect for him to go into the rematch, get paid a ton of money. The fact that he's now getting it stripped because of the injury is not ideal for him. If Petr Yan wins it back, do they have to run it back with Aljamain? Like, is he at this point guaranteed that title shot when he comes back?
Well, this is only for an interim now,
right?
So Aljamain is still the title, so it has to unify no matter what. So Aljo's fine, the winner of this, no matter what. Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, either way, this is a phenomenal matchup. Sandhagen, I thought he had won that fight against TJ as well, 3-2. Just the forward pressure, the wrestling that TJ brought. He had landed a couple of big shots, but I thought Cory was just the busier guy throughout the whole night. Cory lost that fight, though. He very well could have won that fight a lot more straightforward if he had just been a little bit more busy in the later rounds, in my opinion. I think he left a lot out there. I don't think he gave it his all to really make the judges giving them an easy decision there. So the fact that it was back and forth, some people had it one way or this way, I think he left a lot out there. But I think in this matchup in particular, man, this is a tricky one, because I wasn't huge on Petr Yan because he was coming into he had beaten Jose Aldo, which I wasn't huge into that win. And then before that, he had beaten Uriah Faber. So I was like, okay, he hasn't really beaten anyone big. But after the Aljamain fight, I'm kind of all in on Petr Yan now.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it was. I also had another buddy that didn't rate Petr Yan at all. And I was thinking, you're out of your mind. But he actually gave a good reason. He beat Jimmy Rivera, which a few people have. John Dodson isn't a mind beater. Nathaniel Wood was beating him up until he got caught with that one shot. Mm-hmm. Knocking out Uriah Faber, it took 3 rounds to do it. And this was a guy that had been retired for multiple years and just come back, and he's older. And Jose looked a bit drained at that point. He hadn't got the weight cut perfectly down or anything like that. and it still took 5 rounds to do it. But I think what Petr does is he's not necessarily a knockout artist or anything. He has the gas tank. He doesn't stop. He is the Terminator, isn't he? He walks you down. He has such technical striking, and he doesn't get hit that much, to be honest. The opening round with Aljo was storming him, absolutely blitzed him. And I was like, how the hell is he going to keep up this pace? And by halfway through the second round, Aljo was completely gassed.
Right.
And Petr Yan was just just clicked his back, like getting warmed up. He was like, you've got 3.5 rounds left to go, son. This is going to be a long night for you. And you just saw it just turn from a minute, 2 minutes into the second. And that's what Petr does. That's what he does. He breaks you. He makes you give everything. Yeah.
And I think going, I don't know if that was his game plan originally with Aljamain to just kind of wait it out. I think it was just more of a in the moment, like he was seeing what Aljamain was doing. And he was like, that he couldn't keep his pace. I knew that he couldn't keep his pace. Of course, Petr Yan knew that he wasn't going to keep his pace. So that's a smart fight IQ to just be in the moment, understand that, just wait a little bit. He'll tire down. Aljamain ended up going 0 for 17 on his takedowns, but meanwhile, Petr Yan was 7 for 7 on his. So that's kind of a whole nother wrinkle into this is yes, Petr Yan, great boxer. His wrestling skills are much better than I thought they were.
Yeah. Not only that as well, I think in this time there will be no DQ. He's learned the rules. It was a big mistake, but again,
I know
it's the Anthony Smith, John Jones moment.
Right.
How much credit Anthony Smith got for that at the time was rightfully so. He could have taken that belt of John Jones and done an Aljamain Sterling. Yep. And Aljo milked that and he lost so many fans for this. But I think Cory has a lot more weapons than Aljo, striking wise, cardio wise. He's longer. He uses a lot more spinning stuff. Obviously, it didn't work, and I wanted him to stop doing it in the Dillashaw fight. But I don't think he's going to catch Petr with anything spinny or fancy. He's got to use technicality here and his movement because he's long and he can keep him at bay. The size difference is much bigger, and I don't think he's going to be. If he goes 0 for 5 or 0 for 6 with takedowns, he's not going to attempt another 11 like Aljo did. He's going to go, okay, I need to try something different now. I think he's smarter. And I think he's got a better corner team behind him because Aljo dumped Matt Serra out of his corner team for that fight, which was bizarre. Personally, I can't bet against Petr Yan just because that's what he does. He will break him. And no one ever thought Anderson Silva will lose until he lost. No one will ever think someone will break until they. And I think I can't see Cory Sandhagen breaking. He threw everything at TJ, and TJ threw everything at him. And there's not a mark on Cory's face after that fight. And TJ looked busted up. I think Petr's going to outland him comfortably in the later rounds. And I think that's where he gets it done. I can see it by a decision. And I think it's going to be a 3-2 fight. I think the early rounds are going to be all Cory. He's going to want to take a lead. And I think Petr's going to storm him down, march him down. And he could get a finish. It'll be a late finish as per normal. But I think it'll be decision. And it'll be for Petr.
Yeah, man, this is a hard one for me because I was a Cory guy through and through, but the TJ Dillashaw fight just really got to me. It really did. It bothered me that he didn't win that fight more so. We had a 48-47 both ways. It ended up going 48-47 Dillashaw, but I feel like that could have been easily 49-46 in his favor if he just given a little bit more. But maybe that's kind of the name of the game. Maybe if Petr Yan's able to wait it out till it gets into the later rounds again, that's where he's going to win this. But I always do hold that Cory Sandhagen, 5'11", 70-inch reach. He's always going to have a size advantage against anyone that he fights. It just really comes down to what Petr Yan's game plan is going to be. Man, if we're going to make picks, though, we're going to make picks. I am going to go with Petr Yan. I did take Aljamain in that fight originally with Petr Yan. It was even money. And I ate that one pretty bad. So I think I can't bet against Petr Yan again. So I'll go with Petr Yan in this one. I don't think he gets the finish. I think Cory's tough. I think this is a very back and forth, very close fight. I'll go Petr Yan by decision.
Oh, I like it. Both Guy and Petr Yan by decision.
That's a good fight. That is a hell of a fight. I expect the odds to come in about even as well.
Yeah, I can't imagine they would be much. I think Petr might be a slight favorite, just based on what he did to Aljo, but yeah.
Yeah, I would think so.
Perfect. Okay. We have